Wake up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Hey guys, I have no idea what's going on with my internet right now, so thank you. Looks like I am still live. I have absolutely no clue what is going on with my computer. In fact, I have no idea what's going on with anything. I've just got black screens, which, seems to be apropos this morning since my kiddo's school is without power. They still wanted me to drop them off, but they are going to be calling me if the power can't be returned oh, well, that's spectacular, uh, in the next couple hours. So I do have my phone on, well, not silent like I usually do, but we do have stories today. So let me get those set up. Perhaps this will actually work. I have no idea what is going on. Leave it to me to, have a meltdown on freaking, live. But at least it's happening this morning rather than, earlier in my YouTube shenanigans career, because I think I would have had an utter meltdown. So thank you guys for hanging out while I get that figured out, because honestly, I was looking at a black screen. I have no idea what's going on. I probably need to restart my computer or do magic on it. I don't know. Pretty sure Ada Kedavra is not like the spell I would go with, but I really hate my computer right now. So our first story. Can it be both this morning? Oh, good Lord. Okay, I'm not going to have it that loud. I am CC'd in on all of my daughter's texts for reasons I can't figure it out. And she and her boyfriend text each other like it's their job. Let's get this going. Also, we have a bonus feral children. Feral children story today because they keep setting me up for failure. Our first story is Grazer wins her second Fat Bear week in a row, which is awesome. And it's kind of a sad story, but total honey badger female bear in like just badass story as well. Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve announced a bear known as Grazer has been the winner or been named the winner of Fat Bear Week for the second consecutive year. The park said on social media that Grazer, officially designated as Bear 128, won her second consecutive competition, beating out other favorites, including her longtime rival, Chunk, number 32. Quote, this pudgy sow wins a successful winter in a den for all her hard work, raising a cub and feasting on salmon all summer, the announcement said. The annual contest, voted on by members of the public, is a celebration of success and survival. It's a way to celebrate the resilience, adaptability, and strength of Katmai's brown bear. The park said that all the Bruins in this year's bracket did an admirable job of packing on the pounds. Now, I will say that this is the female bear that lost a cub to another bear in the competition. So, yeah, kick-ass mama bear. Let's keep it going. Good morning, Jedi Jess. And we do have some hurricane news. Hurricane Milton slammed into Florida's west coast with 120-mile-per-hour winds, leaving 3 million people without power. And I hope everyone that was close to the area or in the affected area, especially, those that were struck by Helene and now are having to deal with this. I do hope that, they will get the help they need and deserve and are safe. I am glad that so many people were able to get out of town. I know that there are, of course, real life circumstances that, make it so people can't leave too. So I hope the people that couldn't leave, are safe as well. No problem. Hurricane Milton slammed into Florida's west coast Wednesday night as an extremely dangerous storm, bringing life-threatening surge and catastrophic winds that left more than 3 million people without power and areas inundated with water. Siobhan, it does seem like Asheville probably got hit the worst, and I think it's a multifactorial sort of issue. You have a lot of people living in hollers, you have mountains around, so that funnels the water. Most towns were built in these valleys, in these hollers next to water. And honest to goodness, I would never think to prepare for extreme hurricane style flooding in Asheville. I wouldn't. So I think the people that are, saying, why weren't you prepared, are being a little jerk facey. You know, it, I will say that I have met a lot of people, and I'm like on the tail end of Appalachia. These are the people that are prepared to live on the land or off the land, and for the most part, self-sufficient and everything like that. And I think, kind of asking or sort of victim shaming, like, why weren't you prepared? Well, we never expected a hurricane to hit Tennessee and North Carolina inland that far. Some people just know everything on the internet. Milton made landfall as a Category 3 storm near Siesta Key in Sarasota County around 8:30 p.m. with winds up to 120 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center. Significantly lighter than the 180 mile per hour, winds that were raging as a Category 5 hurricane at various points as it traveled along the Gulf. And welcome, Bella V. Welcome, everyone. Sorry, I usually do my welcomes, but you guys were a blank black screen. I am going to be turning off my computer and doing a restart and all the antiviral. I'll just spray it down with Purell. I'm pretty sure that works. Now, Siesta Key, a barrier island off of Sarasota, is renowned for being one of the 25 best beaches in the world and has about 5,500 residents that are mostly retirement age. Let's see here. I mean, the pictures are just insane. And I was watching these. Okay, I may have been stuck like a daggone, goofball to Ryan Hall and all these storm chasers, and all I could think was, my youngest, most feral's going to do this. I was thinking Griffin is going to be out in a daggone hurricane in like 20 years. And I'm going to have to, just be a supportive mom instead of saying, this is why men live shorter lives. But I do appreciate the storm chasers, giving us a real life look at what these kind of conditions look like. And Anderson Cooper got hit in the face with something, which I hope he's not hurt, but that is kind of funny. I'm a terrible person going straight to purgatory. But I laughed my ever-living boobs off when I saw that, because he's not really hurt. But, still, Anderson Cooper. Water levels rose more than 8 feet in nearby Sarasota, the National Weather Service reported, with storm surges up to 5 feet recorded from Naples to Charlotte Harbor, with more inundation likely in Manatee and Sarasota counties. By early Thursday, the superstorm was downgraded to a Category 1, though its effects could still be felt as it made its way across the Sunshine State. Sarasota will continue to see intense wind gusts of upwards of 100 miles for the next few hours as Milton gradually moves across the region, as well as a storm surge as high as 12 feet, Jordan Overton, a senior meteorologist with Fox Weather, told the Post. Power outages are likely. These effects will be gradually waning early tomorrow morning as Milton moves away from the country. More than 2.2 million people were without power early Thursday, according to Power Outages US, along with several outages along the peninsula of the western coast and central Florida, because there was a heavy outbreak of pretty severe tornadoes prior to the hurricane making landfall. So while it is, according to Ryan Hall, I am just parroting this, I am not a meteorologist. It's not unusual for there to be sort of a small tornado outbreak in front of a hurricane, but these were intense tornadoes. So if you didn't get, any damage, or you got minimal damage from the hurricane, there were a lot of tornadoes. It was scary. I appreciate Ryan Hall doing all the donations and keeping people, updated and safe and aware. That was really good to see. I love seeing YouTubers kind of paying it forward and getting things going. And I have seen Ryan Hall do awesome work to get supplies and things out, to people affected. And that has been just amazing and something I would love to model. I mean, I'm not going to give y'all weather advice. I am worse than that chick from Mean Girls who's like, I think it's raining outside. Although I am slightly better now that I have my leg of mutant power, because I can tell you if it's going to rain. It may look sunny outside, but I can definitely tell you if it's going to rain. Now, dangerous twisters also took down power lines earlier that day. At least 9 tornadoes were confirmed as storm systems capable of generating horrific tornadoes swept across Florida and the southern peninsula ahead of Milton's official landfall on Wednesday. On the opposite coast of Sarasota, tornadoes killed multiple people in a retirement community on Fort Pierce, locals told CBS 12. In St. Lucie County, Sheriff Keith Parson told a local news station that between 6 and 12 twisters tore through the area in just 20 minutes. He later said he was able to confirm a total of 17 hitting the county during an appearance on Fox News. Search and rescue teams were evacuating people from damaged buildings at Spanish Lake County or Country Club Village, where unfortunately several people died. The sheriff could not provide the exact number of fatalities Wednesday night. More tornadoes could hit the state through early Thursday, the National Weather Service said. Back on the Gulf Coast, Fox Weather officials said the center of the storm went over Sarasota as opposed to 15 miles north, resulting in small deviations in the significance over which areas experienced the worst storm surge. Tampa's surge was practically nil due to offshore winds at around 11 p.m., according to Fox, with Port Manatee seeing just above a foot of surge. So what happened is the storm was kind of twisting in such a way that the water was actually being pulled or blown out to sea through the Tampa area. So, it was a blessing, but Sarasota got hit, and I don't know that Sarasota was, I think they were prepared, but maybe not prepared to take the brunt. Let's see here. Still powerful winds rocked Tampa and St. Petersburg across the bay and tore the fabric roof of Tropicana Field, home of Major League Baseball's Tampa Bay Rays, according to a video posted on X. The state's emergency management department had planned to set up a staging site for emergency workers responding to Milton at the stadium. And in downtown St. Petersburg, a massive crane collapsed, damaging a nearby building, though no injuries were reported. Downtown Sarasota has experienced more than a half a foot of rain, with another 1 to 3 inches expected. Just north of Bradenton, 13 miles from Tampa, the area was walloped with wind gusts in excess of 80 to 100 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Boca Grande, a small island community south of Sarasota, could see a devastating surge as high as 13 feet if it strikes the same time as high tide, according to National Weather Service. The storm's landfall just south of Tampa Bay was fortuitous. However, if it struck at the heart of the bay or even north of it, forecasters fear it would result in one of the most dangerous storm surges in U.S. history. Tampa Bay was almost tailor-made for dangerous storm surges. Shallow waters offshore cause waves to back up as they push toward land, while the bay's shape and opening further compresses the approaching water. Most of the surrounding communities still sit at elevations below 10 feet, meaning a 13-foot storm surge would leave hundreds of thousands of homes dangerously submerged. Now, it did look like Tampa avoided the direct hit. Oh, goodness. And welcome, everyone. Good morning. Sorry I didn't get to say hi to everyone. My computer is, I don't know what's going on with it. I might need to enlist Mr. Mo. He's always like, what the hell did you do to this? And I'm like, I have no idea. I always blame it on looking up the lyrics to WAP and say that my computer got gonorrhea syphilitis. He never really appreciates that answer. Even as the storm weakened while approaching Florida's coast, typical behavior for a hurricane, it swelled rapidly in size in final hours before landfall, stretching to more than 250 miles in diameter from just 175 in a matter of hours before. Now, traveling on a northeasterly course, Milton's effects will be felt across the entirety of Florida just 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene devastated portions of the case. Now, I will say, try to reach out to your family members, but don't get too Twitter-pated if they aren't able to, call back or get in touch with you right away without power. Maybe the last thing on their mind is going to be to try to get word out. They might be, just in survival mode, but definitely try to contact them today. I do know that so many people were affected and continue to be affected. So hopefully you can get in touch with them and just make sure that everything is going okay. Now, what timeline are we living in? I mean, y'all, really, what timeline am I living in? We've got a real life Lieutenant Dan. If he doesn't go shrimp boating after this, I will freaking lose my mind. Now he needs to go shrimp boating. If he doesn't start, Lieutenant Dan Shrimp, I'm going to be very irritated. Tampa's Lieutenant Dan emerges unscathed after braving Milton's fury on his sailboat, despite the mayor insisting he goes to a shelter. I have no words. What am I mean, this is like beyond Florida man. I am confused. The one-legged sailboat dwelling Florida man, affectionately nicknamed Lieutenant Dan, is okay after riding out Hurricane Milton's wrath in Tampa Bay, despite the mayor insisting he went to a shelter ahead of the powerful storm. The sailor, who went viral for refusing to abandon the ship, never left his boat, in which he lives, as Milton swelled to a Category 5 hurricane before making landfall south of Tampa as a Category 3 hurricane with 120 mile per hour winds. Tampa's mayor, Jane Castor, claimed that Tampa police, quote, just saved Lieutenant Dan, end quote, during a press conference Wednesday afternoon. Quote, he's been rescued and he's now in a shelter as well. If we get Lieutenant Dan to go to a shelter, we can get anyone to do that, she told reporters. But Lieutenant Dan, whose real name is Joseph Malowinski, was spotted on his small boat docked in Tampa Bay just moments later. A politician lying? You don't say. Quote, I know the mayor of Tampa just said in a press conference that Lieutenant Dan went to a shelter, but he didn't. I'm standing right here, News Nation correspondent Brian Inton tweeted just before noon alongside a photo of Malinowski popping his head out of a canvas covering his sailboat's cabin. Etten returned to check on Malowinski, who is nicknamed Lieutenant Dan, probably because Malowinski is freaking, well, I keep saying it differently every time. That's why I'm going with Lieutenant Dan from now on. In a nod to Gary Sinise's seafaring amputee character in Forrest Gump, after Milton made landfall and found his boat tied to a dock in Tampa Bay where water had been dragged out by the storm. He called out to Lieutenant Dan a few times before the top of the boat cabin opened up, and the reporter asked the stubborn sailor if he was okay. According to a video he posted shortly before midnight. "I'm fine," Lieutenant Dan said nonchalantly as he popped his head out. Right now I'm doing fine," he said, looking around at the low water level. "I'm stuck here. I can't go anywhere." As Milton moved through the Gulf Coast, Lieutenant Dan joined a live stream with TikTokers, including Tampa Terrence. Lieutenant Dan said the wind was strong and sent him banging into the wall a few times, but that was to be expected during a live stream. Dan is still alive, guys. Dan is alive. He's buzzing, said the TikToker, who launched a GoFundMe for the internet star. The Tampa mayor said he evacuated, but he didn't evacuate. He's still on the boat. Earlier in the day, Lieutenant Dan shrugged off those pleading with him to evacuate. The safest place to be in a flood is on a boat. We learned that in Noah. Everyone that stayed on land drowned, Lieutenant Dan told reporters. Well, if the tide goes up, I go up. As long as the water stays out of the boat, I'll be fine. Thank you so much, Belle V. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, so I'm not going to recommend anything Lieutenant Dan did. It does seem to be a little bit of a maybe publicity stunt, and I say that, but he also kind of has a point. I mean, if Forrest Gump was able to do it, I don't know. Do not take any recommendations from myself or Lieutenant Dan as to storm preparedness. I think that's the general point of the internet. Now, y'all, again, what timeline are we on? Cookie Monster bizarrely caught speeding on traffic cam, but cops are not amused. What? Okay, it seems eating isn't the only thing Cookie Monster does too quickly. Police cameras captured a bizarre moment when a motorist sped through an intersection in Germany while dressed as the blue biscuit-loving children's character. The fun of wearing a mask from the Muppet Show can quickly turn serious. Spokesperson for the police, Peter Bonderman, told Newsflash while describing the incident. They even have a close-up. Okay, sir, whoever did this, you are my hero just for today. Did they ignore the Sesame Street signs? New York Post, we've talked about this, but I will allow this pun. The pic snapped in western city of Dortmund, Westphalia on September 12th shows the googly-eyed character driving an Audi at 60 miles per hour, which is 10 miles per hour faster than the posted speed limit. The combo of the speed and ridiculous costume led the police to believe that Cookie Monster cosplayer, whose identity has yet to be uncovered. Sir, while I applaud you, you are still living in Germany. And they don't take well to humor or, people who color outside the lines. Run, move to Guam. Or move here. We absolutely love shit posters here. Deliberately got themselves caught on camera for a brazen gag. However, they feel the stunt is no laughing matter. Quote, it won't help the relatives of a person who's been, unalived who did it, if the person who did it tearfully regrets their mask in court. But he didn't run over people. He was speeding, which I don't generally approve of, except still do. Let's see here. If authorities do track down the shaggy-suited troll, they will be slapped with a $50 fine. This isn't the first time Cookie Monster has engaged in questionable behavior. In 2023, authorities instructed residents of Santa Cruz, California, to avoid interacting with a man gussied up as the Crumbly character after he was observed yelling obscenities and taunting locals strolling along the coastal city's boardwalk. The cretin reportedly even harassed parents about paying him to pose with their children. That's a no. Quote, "We are getting calls from people who saying he's creepy," the spokesperson Joyce Blackshay said in a statement to the Post. "Based on his history, we advise the public to not engage with this individual. Steer clear from him." Maybe he was having a hypoglycemic attack. He just needed some Girl Scout cookies to survive. Hey, we've all been there. You're craving, a certain type of cookie, and you're like, Walmart's still open. I don't care what I look like and have no shame anymore. I'm going to go get my happy behind cookies. Well, things are just not going well for Tiffany Henyard. It looks like she was kicked out of her own meeting despite wearing my grandma's throw blanket on her outfit. What is this? That's like burp. Ew. What is this shirt? This is like an amalgamation of colors that semi sort of go together and also looks like upholstery fabric. It totally looks like something my grandma would have put on a throw pillow. I'm just saying. Hold on. Respect, guys. Respects. Oh, wait, I started on a different thing. Dalton, quote unquote, dictator or mayor Tiffany Henyard was ruthlessly jeered out of a municipal meeting she barged into minutes Monday night, making another surreal moment for the beleaguered Illinois village. The self-proclaimed super mayor arrived at the board meeting organized by sparring trustees an hour late. Well, she arrived, swiftly and promptly an hour late. And when she tried to speak, the embittered politician was mocked, booed, and shouted down, according to reports. Quote, "I am the mayor of Dalton," Henyard said dramatically before a chorus of jeers rained down on her. Oh, it's going to be difficult to go from, moving on up to moving in chains. I'm just saying, ma'am, the federal government does not play. But attendees didn't seem, hold on, respect, guys, respect, she said as the commotion continued. "Let me make my statement or I'm going to leave your illegal meeting," end quote. And everyone was like, "Don't threaten us with a good time. Please leave." But the attendees didn't seem to care as they continued to shout at her after she rose to her feet, clutched the microphone on the table, and delivered an ill-fated speech. Some residents even turned their backs on her, according to the Chicago Tribune. She said she was there to make a trio of appointments to fill vacancies, but after 7 futile minutes, she ended up leaving. Now, here is the legal issue with this. If she has not gotten board approval for these appointments, then they are illegal. A judge has already ruled that she is not allowed to make, just overarching appointments without board approval. And because they are at loggerheads, because she is decidedly corrupt and using money and terrible, she is not allowed to make these appointments. She continues to pick the worst people, such as a PDF file for a city inspector. The new chief of police that she tried to get in had the same sort of background issues that he's dealing with. So she continues to find these like sleazy, slimy people that she wants to bring forward. And she's not allowed to do this. As she left the room, the crowd let out sarcastic cheers. Henyard, who's also the supervisor of nearby Thornton Township, at first attended her own meeting at Village Hall, but then was forced to cancel it because only 2 other trustees showed up. Quote, "As you can see, the board did not show up, and these are the things residents are tired of," she said at the meeting. "They're tired of these games." What in the look, I am no fashionista, but what in the Forrest Gump is going on here? Does she have a box of chocolates? Okay, y'all, this just made my day. She is dressed up as Forrest Gump with a box of chocolates. At least I hope to God that wasn't like just a serious and thoughtful outfit that she made up, but I'm going with she is dressing up as Forrest Gump. Please, dear God. Henyard cryptically posted on Facebook Tuesday, "I need all my black sheep to stand up with me." Eh. You're not alone. If God is for us, then who can be against us? I believe God would like to be let out or, left out of this particular conversation, but okay. Henyard has faced the wrath of Dalton residents, with some calling her a dictator and some of her fellow elected officials over allegations she misused taxpayer funds and mismanaged other aspects of the village. Subpoenas have been served in Dalton and Thornton Township as part of a federal probe. Report undertaken by ex-Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Y'all, what timeline am I on that Lori Lightfoot, I swear to goodness, is now the arbiter of justice? I mean, Lori Lightfoot, the woman who kind of screwed up Chicago when she was the mayor, she is going to come in and be our savior. Ooh. I mean, I guess it's the blind leading the blind at that point. I don't know. Seems like a weird person to put your, faith in, but she actually did a good report, all jokes aside. All jokes aside, she actually did shed some pretty damning light on some of the books. Now, Henyard wants to name a new police chief, village administrator, and village attorney, but a Cook County judge determined last month that Henyard did not follow protocol when she tried to make proposed appointments after the trustees opposed Henyard and filed a lawsuit. The meeting where Henyard waltzed in was late and held in a Park District Fieldhouse after an Illinois Attorney General's office ruled that the village violated the state's transparency law by not giving residents a large enough venue to attend, according to newspapers. On Tuesday, she filed a lawsuit on a judge forcing the opposing trustees to hold meetings at the village hall, accusing them of illegally holding meetings at the Fieldhouse. No, the judge told them that you have to have a space big enough for all public members who would like to participate in these hearings. They're actually doing a good job, not bad. But again, she chose this outfit willingly, so her discernment might be off. And I realize I am saying this as I throw stones. I am wearing and I get, I mean, I realize I have like no stones to throw as far as, being a fashionista, if you will. So I completely, you know, I completely appreciate that I have no stones to throw as far as fashion tips, but daggone, I have, I would never wear this. In a sad story, but I think it really brings up the human cost of Helene. But I do want to warn you, it is really, really sad. So if you want, you can put it on mute for a little bit, come back and see when I've changed articles. But from Good Morning America, a man has lost 11 members of his family in Hurricane Helene. It's absolutely heartbreaking and devastating that someone has lost so many family members. A North Carolina man says he's lost 11 members of his family due to Hurricane Helene. Jesse Craig's mother, father, aunt, uncle, great uncle, cousins, and second cousins are among the more than 230 people so far who have been, actually confirmed passed away after Helene brought devastating rain and unprecedented flooding, mudslides, extensive damage to 6 southern states, including Craig's home state of North Carolina. Piper Lou, so Piper spelled normal and then Lou, LOU.com. Great sweatshirts, and they're a little pricey, not going to lie, but they're very comfy. I buy them many sizes too big because I like big, comfy shirts. And I'm married. I don't need to show nothing off anymore. And people kindly ask me not to show things off anymore. The Craig family lived primarily in Fairview, North Carolina, about 12 miles southeast of Asheville. Both Fairview and Asheville, among other cities and towns in Buncombe County in the western region of the state, were hit particularly hard because of extreme flooding. conditions that county officials on September 28th described as biblical devastation. It's unrecognizable now, but Fairview is where I was born and raised, Jesse Craig told ABC Durham affiliate WTVD October 8th, adding that his family had been in the region for the last 80 years and locals referred to the area informally as Craigstown. According to WTVD, Helene's effects led to a mudslide that wiped out multiple homes in Fairview with the people inside them. Quote, we'll never make sense of it, you know. It's our community and our town, and I don't know that it'll ever be the same, end quote, Jesse Craig said. Family and friends and community members are rallying behind Jesse Craig and his wife, Mackenzie Craig, and have started an online fundraiser to help with funeral costs. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, losing one member of your family, but to have almost your entire family wiped out, to know that you are left behind, and just the practical things, having to, you know, look at, you know, funeral costs, that kind of thing. Most families have like cemeteries where they've been buried in for years and generations, at least around my neck of the woods, you know, and that's probably gone. That's probably gone. I mean, these are the practical things that you don't really think about at the time. It's how are you going to bury someone when it's stuck under 20 feet of mud? I mean, are we going to dig that out? Are we going to rebuild on top of it? I mean, all these incredibly difficult questions while you are in shock and just kind of numb. Yeah, that's the thing. Those are practical things you don't even know. So, do you have to pay extra for them to excavate? It should. It should, but you know, it didn't. I am glad that someone helped him set up a GoFundMe. I can't imagine just even mentally sorting through how I would deal with this. So, what a what an awesome person to it's not an easy story to cover. It's incredibly heartbreaking. And I'm glad to amplify this for other people to kind of know just how bad this was. Because unfortunately, we know in our 24-hour news cycle, you know, this will slowly go lower and lower or quickly because we are in an election to the bottom or the back page. And it really can't. There are so many people out there that are still hurting. We need to keep this in the public awareness, you know, for the long haul. This is going to be a long haul recovery. And hopefully people understand that. The Craigs told WTVD that they will continue to raise awareness about the devastation left behind by Helene and are committed to rebuilding Fairview. Quote, we don't want people to forget months down the road. This isn't just a week or two fix, Mackenzie Craig said. Added Jesse Craig, we have to be in it for the long haul. This is going to take years of work to repair to try to make it recognizable again. I have so many questions about this one, but a speed eater has downed 2 pounds and 7 ounces of hot sauce in 3 minutes. I'm not trying to be crass, but that is a burning bumhole situation in a couple hours. I hope he has some Tux pads. Ladies with children, you know what I'm talking about. Those Tux pads, amazing. A Canadian speed eater added another world record to his name by eating 2 pounds and 7 ounces of hot sauce in 3 minutes. I mean, this is making me nauseated to speak about. But okay. I mean, if you have to have a superpower, I guess eating gallons of hot sauce. Although, why wouldn't we put it in liquid measure instead of pounds? It's sort of a liquidy thing. I don't know. Just ew. Titles for speed eating and drinking. He broke the record for the most hot sauce eaten in 3 minutes on the same day that he broke the record for the fastest time to eat a Capri Sun. The fastest time to eat a Capri Sun. I think my feral son holds that, just not officially. Jack used a spoon to eat 2 pounds and 7 ounces of sriracha hot sauce in the allotted time. Quote, a lot of people say your bum must burn a lot after you did that challenge, Jack told the Guinness World Record. But I've never experienced a burn butt before. It's a genetic mutation. I guess this is my superpower. We thought, I always hoped that we'd get the X-Men, but these are the mutations that we get. I feel cheated. I was hoping I would be Storm, well, more Jean Grey, because I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to like do the dishes with your mind, like put in cabinets? I mean, yeah. But these are the mutant superpowers we get. I call shenanigans. I would like my money back. I was hoping that we'd get cool, you know, stuff. It's an end of an era. The Tropicana crumbles as Las Vegas goes all in on sports and entertainment. I mean, nothing like a huge explosion, not gonna lie. It's so amazing to me that they're able to do these demolitions so in such a controlled way. I know it probably takes a lot of math and coordination, but it really is amazing to see how people can work these sort of things and have things fall exactly where they need to with minimum, safety issues for other people. With a flash and a boom, the Tropicana went bust. The iconic casino was torn down in the wee hours of Wednesday morning to make way for a baseball stadium, part of an ongoing pivot that Las Vegas officials hope will fuel the economy or the city's economic future as affordability concerns simmer on and off the strip. The 22-story hotel, which opened in 1957 and featured in the 1971 James Bond film Diamonds Are Forever and The Godfather the following year, closed its doors on April the 2nd, but didn't go down in darkness. In true Vegas fashion, the city turned the building's 2:30 a.m. implosion into a party, replete with drones and firework display. Quote, it's kind of a celebration life. Of course, they would have fireworks and drones. It's Las Vegas. It's kind of a celebration of life for all the property has meant to Las Vegas, said Steve Hill, president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. The neighborhood where the Tropicana once stood is quickly becoming the city's sports district, housing both Allegiant Stadium and the home of the Las Vegas Raiders football team, and the T-Mobile Arena, which hosts UFC, WNBA, and NHL events. After the rubble is cleared away, officials hope to start building a proposed 33,000-seat baseball park for the Oakland Athletics ahead of the team's scheduled relocation for the 2028 season. The stadium is projected to cost an estimated $1.5 billion, with taxpayers kicking in at least $350 million. Were the taxpayers asked if $350 million would be okay to spend on a baseball diamond? I get that I am unusual, that I don't have, a sports ball thingamabob kind of bone in my body, but that just seems like a whole hell of a lot for a stadium. Local visitors in town ahead of Tropicana's demolition were mostly upbeat for the next chapter in the city. Marco Robinson, who's been tending bar in Las Vegas for 4 decades, acknowledged that the casino's demise was, quote, hard for a lot of people who work here, but he said it's a new era and this is what Vegas is. I'm excited about the changes coming to Vegas, said Jordan McCall, 30, who has lived in the city since 2010. You just have to embrace it, he said, carrying a camcorder to document the property's final hours. This Las Vegas has long sought to, quote, Thor Bert. We have talked about this. We do not get on mommy's desk. Stop. Make way for new. This is a normal part of our evolution, said Amanda Barmino, an associate professor of hospitality management at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I think it's being imploded for what's more significant. The new stadium is set to take the Tropicana's place and would add to a growing roster of venues and events offering high dollar experiences beyond casinos and concert halls. So if it helps Las Vegas, I guess, but it's just, I don't know. The Tropicana, I wish we could move into the future but not destroy the past. I feel like this is Star Wars all over again. Like, kill the past if you must. It just seems to be, we want to destroy the old things quickly, and maybe what we have to replace them aren't as well made sometimes. It bothers me a little that we have to destroy things to move forward. Of course, as I say this, I am cleaning out my room and getting rid of old things, so I am, in fact, hypocritical about a lot of things. Uh, well, get these two chicks some mud and oil and let's see them wrestle. A high ranking NYC official is caught fighting and wrestling over a phone at the Gracie Mansion, forcing correction officers to step in. I saw this photo and I was like, the heck is going on here? And then I was like, bring out the Jello. Let these two fight it out in the time honored tradition of Jello duel. Oh, would you stop with the mic, you dingus? Oh, I just brought dingus into conversation. Thor is pissed. Siobhan, yeah, I get it. I don't have any really good answers. I think sometimes I just get a little sad that a lot of things are moving and changing, and sometimes it doesn't always seem to be for the best. It seems like we're just moving forward to move forward. Sometimes, moving forward and progress is awesome. Well, no, but I'm just saying if I'm going to see a cat fight, I want some, Jello. Here's a cat fight worthy of the Real Housewives of City Hall. Two high ranking New York officials have been caught on camera while wrestling with each other over a phone at an official event at Gracie Mansion, which is the governor's mansion, on Tuesday night. City Department of Corrections Press Secretary Anais Morales and DOC Compliance Officer Miriam Singh struggled with each other in a Diva Donnybrook that was stopped by two uniformed corrections officers. A video posted to X reveals. Yeah, they were looking like they were going to take off some earrings and go full on Jerry Springer here. City Hall blasted the pair for their reality show behavior. Quote, we expect all city employees to act with the highest level of integrity. This matter is under investigation by the Department of Corrections. The Deputy Mayor of Communications, Fabian Levy, told the Post. DOC officials started their cell box scuffle after getting into a verbal argument near a fern on the side of the packed room, as dancers could be seen in the background of the Hispanic Heritage event. At one point, Singh takes out her phone to film the commotion, and Morales can be seen lunging for Singh's device as two uniformed corrections. Yes, I see you. I will continue patting you. You guys have to watch this because he gets ticked off if I stop petting him, and he'll try to attack me. Let's see here. Morales can be seen lunging. In a bid to escape Morales' clutches, Singh is leaning back over a table and continuing to film the dispute. Yeah, she does. I bet she'd be kicked butt at Limbo. Not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm that flexible. I'm just saying. Now, then Morales snatched the phone and hurls it across the packed room before uniform. Yes, I see. Thor, it's really funny when they just see a paw come up because you are demanding pets, you dingus. Let's see. Before uniformed officers stand between the sparring women who finally go their separate ways. Loud music blaring in the background muffles Morales and Singh's voice, and it remains unclear what sparked the catfight. Singh and Morales have been contacted for comment but did not immediately respond. The argument took place at a Hispanic heritage event being hosted by Mayor Eric Adams, who has been continuing business as usual despite being slapped with a bombshell 57-page indictment. During his speech to attendees, Adams took a moment to again underscore his innocence, claiming he did not one damn thing wrong. Good idea. Referring to the turmoil that's ensnared his administration. If we have come through difficult times and are willing to be resilient and never surrender and never give up, this is not, gosh, uh, Galaxy Quest, you ridiculous dingleberry. Never give up, never surrender is possibly the best, fake sci-fi, catchphrase ever. Do not besmirch it with your, governmental insanity. But yeah, so basically, Eric Adams just can't catch a break. He hires unprofessional people, and this is what happens. Dr. Dre apparently is being slapped with a lawsuit for $10 million by a divorce psychotherapist alleging, quote, unbearable harassment. A psychotherapist in Southern California is suing Dr. Dre for at least $10 million with allegations the rapper and business mogul subjected him to, quote, systematic and malicious, end quote, barrage of, quote, unbearable harassment, end quote, that left him wearing a bulletproof vest and fearing for his life. In a new lawsuit filed in Los Angeles County's Superior Court, Dr. Charles Sophie alleges Dre, born Andre Young, hired him in 2018 to mediate the breakdown of his decades-long marriage of his now ex-wife, Nicole Young. Sophie says he worked diligently, independently, and fairly to help the couple resolve their dispute and cease communication with Dre when the pair reached a settlement in late 2021. The doctor says about 14 months later, Dre started texting him out of the blue with accusations that the doctor, Thor, you are moving my... that the doctor acted improperly, allegations that the doctor denies. Rather than treating the mediation process as an opportunity for healing, Young decided to take his frustrations about the mediation on Dr. Sophie, frustrations that manifested themselves in the form of a nearly year-long sustained campaign of late-night texts, threats of intimidation and violence, and homophobic rhetoric. Oh, I'm sorry. If it's not the kids, it's the cat. You are ridiculous. You are not a baby. He's like, I is too a baby. Oh my gosh, you're ridiculous. In a statement, Dre's lawyer, Howard King, tells Rolling Stone that Dre previously filed a confidential complaint against Sophie with the Osteopathic Medicine Board of California last year, seeking to get Dr. Sophie punished for dereliction of duties and incredible incompetence. The complaint seeks the revocation of Dr. Sophie's license to provide mental health counseling to needy patients. In gross violation of all applicable standards of care, Dr. Sophie inserted himself into a contentious divorce while he simultaneously treated not only Mr. and Mrs. Young, but their children. He was terminated when it was revealed that he was encouraging one of their children to take sides against Mr. Young, even encouraging his son to go to the press with false allegations in order to force a financial settlement that he recommended, King claims in a statement. Dr. Sophie has consistently rebuffed the medical board's attempts to investigate these claims, but has now filed a desperate suit while the noose of the medical board is tightening. According to Sophie's 22-page lawsuit signed by his lawyer, Christopher Frost, and obtained by Rolling Stone, Sophie said Dre sent him an overtly threatening text around 10 p.m. on February 16th, 2023, in which he claimed someone told him something disturbing and that Sophie was going to have to pay for that. Sophie says he replied, "Excuse me," and shortly after that, Dre allegedly responded, "Yes, you're a piece of poo," although he didn't use poo. Safi said he tried to remain calm and attempted to defuse the situation. He says he responded the next day with "Good morning, I have no idea what you're referring to and would make myself available to discuss anytime. Thank you." He says Dre doubled down with a follow-up message that read, "You effed up, just so you know. I love being underestimated." Safi said Dre falsely accused him of trying to turn an unidentified third party against him. He said Dre wrongfully accused him of acting improperly during the divorce mediation. "There's no truth behind these baseless, far fetched accusations," the new lawsuit states. Dr. Safi tried to let threats go and not pursue them. Young, however, would not let it go, according to the complaint. Dre sent another text on March 5th, 2023 that read, "What happened, Doc? I thought you wanted to talk. Cat got your tongue? You're going to have to give me a written, apology. If not, I'm moving forward. I'm not playing. Trust me." Safi claims that in June 2023, Dre tried to force him to unlawfully disclose confidential information obtained during a therapy session with a third party. Safi said he refused and, quote, again tried to stay calm and hoped that Young's threats, harassment, and intimidation would stop. On June 4th, 2023, Dre sent another disturbing and chilling message in which he allegedly threatened, "Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you." Safi claims the particularly sinister text left him more fearful of his life than ever before. The doctor claims that in February 2023, immediately after the initial texts were sent, he received a strange call from a security guard at his gated community saying individuals claiming to be FBI agents were requesting to be led into Dr. Safi's residence to talk to him. The doctor says he believes the people were impersonating agents to get access to his residence and send an unmistakable message that Safi wasn't safe, even in the sanctity of his own home. Dr. Safi lives in constant fear. He wears a bulletproof vest anytime he steps foot outside. He's afraid to leave his home and is constantly looking over his shoulder. The egregiousness of Young's persistent harassment behavior has compelled Dr. Safi to seek redress and protection, the lawsuit states. Nobody should have to live in constant fear, but Dr. Safi does, ironically for no other reason than he tried to help Young resolve his own family's conflict. The lawsuit includes claims for civil harassment, threat of violence based on his orientation, and a court order prohibiting contact. He is seeking compensatory damages of at least $10 million and punitive damages to be decided at trial. Okay, Jedi Jess, if it really was the FBI, wouldn't they come back? I mean, I don't imagine that the FBI is going to let people tell them, "Off you F away." It would seem that the FBI would be like, "No, we're the FBI. We have a search warrant," or blah, blah, blah. All right, you guys have to see this. This is utterly... Yes, he is snoring. Mr. Mo asks me why I don't get things done half the time. He is such a baby. I swear. He's like, I is the baby now. What in the Walmart rapture is going on here? I mean, look, parenting is hard. Parenting is like trying to put together IKEA with no instructions. And I do terrible with IKEA, even with instructions. But I've never been intoxicated teaching a 9-year-old to drive and then get run over. Just absolute weirdness. An Ohio father ended up in the hospital after he was run over by his 9-year-old son while he was teaching the boy to drive, according to cops. Do what now? It happened around 1 p.m. Sunday at a home on the 100 block of Carbon Street in Toledo. Local ABC affiliate WTVG obtained surveillance video of the accident from a home across the street. It shows 36-year-old Keljan Williams outside the open door jam on the driver's side. Williams was reportedly telling the boy to hit the brake, But the boy, being, freaking 9 years old, didn't know which brake that or pedal that was. He hit the gas and the car went into reverse. The video shows Williams being dragged by the vehicle as it backs out onto the street and smashes into a telephone pole. Williams gets sucked under the car and run over. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, and police have not released his condition. I mean, I hope he's going to be okay, but I kind of, I mean, sometimes you do dumb things. You get play stupid games, get stupid prizes. I mean, I'm trying to feel bad for this guy, but I I honestly feel worse for the kid. I feel worse for the kid because I can't imagine how traumatic it would be to know that you injured your own father. And, all of the sort of guilt and, terror of maybe not knowing if your father's going to survive. It just, good night, nurse. Now, he was intoxicated during the incident, according to police. The boy was not hurt. Another child was in the back seat. Another flippin' child. I would like to say all the curse words right now. I Another child was in the back seat, and you're like, "No, 9-year-old, it'll be great if you try to drive." Y'all, anyone can have a child. It takes really good people to be parents. Holy fazolies. What the hell? Police arrested Williams for wrongly entrusting a person without a license and child endangerment, according to records. He has court date scheduled October 16th. Oh, crud. The Lyrica is doing great jobs today. Makes everything a little blurry. It's heartbreaking because as a parent, when you see that happen, you think how you would have prevented it. Toledo police officer Prince Flores told WTVG. As a parent, your job is to make sure your kids are safe and sound, uh, and make good decisions. You want to make sure that you're putting them in the best possible position to be okay. You don't want to put them in a situation that they're not ready for or mature enough to realize. The accident remains under investigation. Now we have come to the feral story time of the day. So last night, I am picking up my boys from their very Christian school, like Shiite Christian. The girls aren't allowed to wear skirts above the knee. Uh, so, I'm pretty much just driving them home, asking them the normal, like, how was your school today? What's one thing you learned? Usually I get like nothing and we were in school, but I do attempt to ask, to try to keep those lines of communication open. But then my youngest, most feral, out of the back seat says, "Do we have our door blood?" Now, mind you, I am still driving, so I'm like, "The hell are you talking about?" I mean, I'm glad I'm at a stop sign because I look back at him and I'm like, "What did you just say? Did you say doorbell? Because we do have." He's like, "No, our door blood. Don't you know we're supposed to have that?" I was like, "I don't know exactly what you're talking about. What are you talking about?" It's a Passover thing, yes. But he was like, "Yeah, the death angel is gonna come and kill all of us if we don't get our door blood." And I was like, "Sweetie, that was sort of, but not really." He's like, "I know, but where would we get door blood? I don't want to die." I was like, school, I get that you're trying to teach them about, Passover, and that's great, but little kids never interpret things the way they are supposed to go. So he's like, "Okay, but where do we get it? Because I really don't want to die because there is a death angel that will come around and kill us. And it's Halloween too, so we definitely need some door blood." And I was like, "Not." He's like, "Yeah, but there was this place in Egypt where you had to do this, and then everyone died." Well, it's an Old Testament thing, but I think they're in the Old Testament right now, so I think they're learning it, but yeah, he was like, "Yeah, God was super mad at people, so they had to, like, get all this blood, and, it's really weird, but they had to, like, paint it on their door, like dad's painting the door. Could we just use paint? Red paint?" And I was like, "Oh, for the." I was like, "No, you guys." I was like, God, help me out with this one. You explain it. You explain it. I'm out. So I'm over here trying to figure out a way to explain to, my children that we do not need to, in fact, sacrifice a young lamb and paint its blood on our door for certain reasons. And I was like, no, you guys, it was about being obedient to God. So God told him to do something, and you were supposed to be obedient. At least I think. Let's be honest. I haven't, you know, well, no, actually, so Covia 42, I have been watching From It Up. She has this really cool kind of tenor and way of speaking that really um, calms me down. And she is, I might not say it right, a Orthodox Asardic Jew, Asadic. Anyway, she has been I love learning about other religions, and she has such a sweet little voice, and I really wanna make challah bread now, but that's because I love carbohydrates. Um, so I will say that I'm learning a lot of things, and I know that is not a thing. Now, what I will say is then after I get done with my long-winded attempt to explain what this Bible story is actually about, Sephardic, there we go. Yes, it's Sephardic. Thank you, JKD Buck. Uh, and I was so then my son was like, "Okay, so I can't just order like the angel of death on people I don't like and people that tick me off in Roblox." I was like, "No, you cannot order the angel of death on people. What is wrong with you?" That's what you got out of this story. All right, you guys, I do not have any other streams planned. Like I said, my younger two sons' school was out of power. They still wanted us. Okay, I'm going to need to let you go to let them or go, drop them off. Uh, in case the power came back on, but I will basically be waiting around most of the day to make sure that they don't need us to pick them up. I don't know what happened to our power. We are in the middle of southern Indiana, so we haven't gotten struck by anything. Squid pro quo, that was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I cannot answer this badly. I am out driving. I will get struck by lightning. And then my youngest son was like, well, why would God send someone to kill someone? Isn't killing against the rules? And I'm like, I am just trying to drive home. I am just trying to drive home. I don't know. It's like when your kid out of the blue, here's one more story. So my poor lovely beta test child, my oldest daughter, when she was 7 years old, she decided to out of the blue ask me where babies come from. And you have like 84 different ways you can do this. You can go the biblical way, you can go the, just biology way, or you can kind of go in the middle, which is where I want to I kind of tend to go. So I gave her the longest speech ever, and I'm pretty sure at the end of this, neither of us knew where babies come from. And I told Mr. Mo, I was like, I'm pretty sure neither of us know where babies come from now. Because I was trying to be like, when a man and a woman love each other, it should really be in a committed relationship, because there are always emotions involved. But that you know what you'll learn in 5th grade. The public school system will tell you. Because if any of you didn't really discuss this with your parents because maybe they were a little bit more or less not open, and then you get to that, time in 5th grade where you're like, people do what? And then you have that sudden disgusting heebie-jeebie inducing thing that, oh my God, my parents did that at least 2 times. They really could have just stuck with one. I mean, they had the perfect child first. No, no, I know, Celestial Force. We had a do-over where she got to ask questions, and I answered her questions to kind of figure out what she was more curious about and, how to put it in her level and have her ask questions. But, yeah, my kids always get me. I know. As the oldest child, having to babysit all you younger children, you should be lucky that we stay al that you stayed alive. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, they were. They were just asking where and why, because my youngest son was like, "You want all of us to die, don't you?" Because I was saying, "We don't put that on our doors anymore." He's like, "You're just mean. I'm telling the teacher you won't get us door blood." And I'm pretty sure I'll get a call from the teacher today no matter what, regardless of there not being power or anything else, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna tell on me for not having Passover blood. Thorbert Finkelstein Higgins, what is wrong with you? Stop. My desk is not. I have a cat tree coming out, a big fat cat tree where all of you can sit right behind me and not be on my desk because you like to chew wires. Like electricity isn't a thing. Well, I am going to let you guys go. I do not have another stream scheduled, and I don't know that I'll be doing an evening stream just based on our rural electricity can be a little weird. I also, yesterday was not a good evening, so I do owe Mr. Mo a date night redux. So there will be no nighttime newsy news tonight. I know that the schedule has been all over the place, but I definitely owe Mr. Mo a date night, and we get to go get Mexican food, which we will fight each other over some chips and salsa, and I might get a big old margarita. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Do one nice thing for yourself and others. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. And if people are mean, screw them, which I know is kind of diametrically opposed things, but don't be a doormat. Uh, Welcome, Shizzy Raiders. I am just about ready to sign off. So I hope you all have a wonderful day too. And I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.